So what are the top 10 highest grossing black horror or scary movies? And no, Blackula isn't on the list. I have adjusted for inflation and I was surprised too. First up, Bones, directed by Ernest Dickerson. This movie involved, I think the first time Snoop Dogg got a starring role, came out in 2001, and he plays like, I want to say Pimp, and there's Pam Grier in it. I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know this movie too well. I just remember the trailer, but I know a lot of people that love it and it has a bit of a cult status now. I think he comes back as like a demon to take his revenge on the people that, got rid of him. And with a $16 million budget, it only made half of that back at about $8 million. But when you adjust that for inflation, it's made about, we'll say $14 million. Maybe it's time I went back and gave this a watch. Number 9, also directed by Ernest Dickerson. That'll be a personal favorite of mine. Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight. Movie involves a group of people stuck at a truck stop that have to stop a demon from getting a key that allow the demons to take over the earth. It's gory, it's violent, it has the humor you know from Tales from the Crypt, and one of my favorite things, it has 1995 Jada Pinkett. And goes against a lot of the tropes that you see in horror movies, especially with her character. On a budget of $12 million, this movie went on to make $21.1 million, which in today's money would be about $42 million. So it almost made double its budget. Classic, highly recommend. If you haven't seen this before, go check it out. Number 8, another personal favorite of mine, Tales from the Hood. Directed by Rusty Cundiff, this is like an anthology horror story with an urban/hood spin on things. It has one of my favorite endings in any horror movie. And out of most of the ones on this list, I could probably quote this one more than anything else. This ain't the Terror Dome neither. Great mix of humor and horror and just enough scares to kind of make you go like, God, dog. And at the time, on a budget of $6 million, this movie grossed 11.8, pretty much double its budget, which today would be about $23 million. Definitely check it out if you haven't. I'd avoid the sequels though. At number 7, we have 2019's Ma. And when I tell you, I didn't know that this movie had a budget of $5 million, but made $61 million. I guess that's the power of Octavia Spencer. And I won't lie to you, I never saw this in the theater only because the trailer came off very weird to me. It involves this woman, I think that was, made fun of in high school, and she sees the kids, the people that made fun of her later, and lets them hang out at her house and starts stalking them. It gets weird. And when you adjust it for inflation, it made, I think $67.7 million. Directed by Tate Taylor, I might need to go back and check this one out. What do y'all think? Number 6, 1992's classic Candyman. When I tell you, I didn't even see this movie till I got in college, but I remember the trailer coming out and all of my friends and stuff not wanting to say Candyman 5 times into a mirror. This movie was everywhere. Directed by Bernard Rose, this movie follows the story of a man who's in love with a woman, but he's killed for loving this woman, and then he has control over bees. You say his name 5 times. It gets crazy. And on a budget of $8 million, it made $25 million. And when you adjust that for inflation, that's about $55 million today. People still talk about this movie to this day. Tony Todd killed it as our titular villain, pun intended. This movie has such a cult-like status, it may or may not have a reboot that appears on this list.